Welcome to Being Revealed with Stephanie and Alex. I'm Stephanie Cunningham.
I'm Alex Holtzapfel.
We started this podcast to talk about the journey of personal and spiritual growth, ours and others. Thanks for joining us as we figure things out together. Good evening.
Welcome back.
So we say good evening because, again, it's 10:12, which is getting to Alex's sweet spot in the day.
Well, second wind.
Right.
I don't know tonight, though.
And my close to bedtime. So, yeah. So we've had a long weekend of baseball. They didn't win, unfortunately, which was a big bummer. Baseball, and then I started moving into the new space, which we talked a little bit about the last time.
Yeah.
But we didn't go into too much detail.
No.
And that's because the approvals hadn't gone through.
Yeah. So it's official now. You got the keys.
Yep.
And the plan is like a spiritual wellness center, correct?
That's right. Revelation U, Reiki and Wellbeing, Spiritual Wellness Center here in Marysville, Ohio. So how it's going to be a little different than it was before is there are going to be other practitioners in the space as well, not just me. So as we're starting, I look for there to be, several different practitioners coming in and out, offering services that are aligned with the mission of Revelation U, which is to help people better understand who they are and how they work so they can create a life that feels deeply satisfying. So right now, obviously we have Reiki, we have life coaching, spiritual life coaching. We have EFT or tapping. We have an intuitive reader. And then we're also continuing with the meditation and group Reiki each week. And actually in June, we're going to do meditation and group Reiki throughout the week. So you can find the schedule on revolutionu.com. And let's see what else. Oh, yoga. Yep, yoga for chronic pain, which we're really excited to offer. So that'll be coming at the beginning of June as well. So we will start taking clients May 27th, but we're going to have, a grand opening probably in the end of June.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it's all kind of revolving around baseball. Yeah, I mean, there was a plan to have like massage in there, but that's kind of fell through. At one point, you thought a chiropractor knew the area and might utilize the space, and that's the thing. There's opportunity for other practitioners to come in as long as they're aligned with the vision, and it's I look at it like self-growth, like it's kind of like people get to a point where they're just not happy with who they are. There's an emptiness, but they don't know how to look inward. They don't know how to find the thing that completes them. And I feel like all the spiritual stuff we talk about, the spiritual principles and taking action, those are the things that help you really become whole. And I feel like that's what Reiki does, and that's what the life coaching and the meditation, and that's what this center is geared towards. Is that what you would say?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. It's the improvement of self, the bettering of self.
The rediscovering of self.
Rediscovering of self.
Getting reacquainted after years of, not touching in. And sometimes, well, I shouldn't say sometimes, most times when we feel like something's missing in our lives, it's us. We're the ones that we're missing from our lives because we've lived so externally for our career, for our families, for volunteer opportunities, for everything else. And we haven't taken that time to cultivate the relationship with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, really honoring what it is that we want, honoring what feels good to us, saying no when we mean no, saying yes when we mean yes. We give up a lot of ourselves for the external.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a place where we can really get back to ourselves and really learn how to do that and rediscover what it is that we like and need and
Mm-hmm.
want in our lives.
Well, and also how to facilitate it and continue the growth, because that's
Mm-hmm.
the hardest thing too, is like when you can get to that turning point, or where you do surrender and you start to become a new person, but then it can be hard to continue it, because
Yes.
when you kind of start that journey, or you get on a pink cloud and you're on this like big high, and then once you come off of it, it's like, you know the
Mm-hmm.
honeymoon period's over. Now it's like work, you know
Mm-hmm.
so it can be hard to continue the growth or
Mm-hmm.
continue on that path. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that's kind of,
And
yeah,
really, there it's like integration.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about, well, what should we talk about, and you wanted to mention the center and the start of that, and then I was kind of thinking like, well, what about something like being powerless over something, surrender, asking for help. And I think that goes, all of those three things go together well. But also with what you're trying to do, it applies to that as well, because most people aren't going to reach out for some kind of help, or look to self improve unless they realize they're powerless over something, or they surrender to something, or they're asking for help. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so and that's those things are our hardest thing. One of the hardest things that a person has to do. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think any kind of change that you're going to make in your life, it starts with, making that decision to want to do something different and being okay with life being different.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what's really scary, is that, you know, kind of surrendering to the fact that, okay, if I want my life to feel different, I have to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I have to give up my security. Then I have to give up my current behaviors that may or may not be supportive of that. I might have to move. I might have to start, taking classes if that's what I want to do. I'm going to have to start doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
And anything different is kind of scary.
Yeah. I mean, and there's vices and crutches, and that, yeah, you kind of have to phase out. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, so getting to that point though, and that's the thing, like the you can, like, the center, or the
Mm-hmm.
what you're trying to, or what you're putting in place, it there's a chance for like one-on-one work, but there's also going to be a chance for like group, for people
Mm-hmm.
who have the same um, aspirations or the same goals, because I know that was something you were wanting to do too, is maybe have just like a get together once a week in the evening. And
Mm-hmm.
that, that's powerful too, because some people might want to just be one-on-one, but it really makes a difference when you hear other people going through the same thing that you are,
Mm-hmm.
or they're trying to change just like you are.
Or curious about a topic, or
Yeah.
curious
Mm-hmm.
about growth, or curious about what your story is versus,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It just really, and that's why I think AA was always, or any of the 12-step programs are always so effective, because it's experience. People are like, once you hear your story in the rooms,
Mm-hmm.
then it just like, you're like, wow, that's me. And then you see that that person has gotten well, and then it's like, you know, that you can get well too.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it, there's power in numbers, you know, and it makes a difference
Mm-hmm.
when you hear how low people, or a certain person was, and you see like the change they went through.
Mm-hmm.
Then it lets you know that it's possible, that you can, that, you know, it's possible for you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, like, you know, the first thing is realizing that you're powerless over something,
Mm-hmm.
or that you don't, you know, lack of control, powerlessness, or there's something in your life. It can be big, it could be alcohol, it could be small, it could be, you know, like something negative, like maybe you gossip a lot and
Mm-hmm.
you're getting, you know, it's affecting your life. Like, but realizing that you can't control it, that you don't have power over it, and then
Mm-hmm.
surrendering to the fact,
Mm-hmm.
and then reaching out for help in one form or another,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
What about, what do you think about, like, so let's say your life is just going, you know, day to day, you're just getting up, living the same
Mm-hmm.
day every day. Could that be an example of powerlessness?
Well, being like
Our dog
power,
is moving.
yeah.
He's like, I'm done with this conversation.
I'm getting on the floor. Um, like being powerless over like the repetition,
Yeah, I
or
mean,
like,
it's just coming to terms with like something's not feeling right, something's not feeling right,
mm-hmm,
and then you're like, what's going on? Why is this happening? And then you recognize that you've gotten yourself into these behavior patterns and these cycles that
complacency,
complete,
or
yeah, complacency, and
mm-hmm,
you're like, oh no, now I'm stuck, or you might feel stuck. You know, okay, so I have this life now that you might think I'm powerless to get out of
mm-hmm.
because I've set myself up in a specific way, and to untangle it and start over,
You
or
don't
not
know where to
necessarily
start.
start over, but yeah, you don't know where to start,
Yeah.
or just kind of make some changes. It feels really big and feels like it might be, you don't have power over it.
I mean, yeah.
There's a different kind of
Yeah,
powerlessness.
like I think that it's like you get stuck in the cycle,
Mm-hmm.
and then you don't know how to get out of it,
Mm-hmm.
because, I mean, of many reasons, like you said, it can be, you just don't have the time, you don't know where to begin, you don't know how to do something different. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I think that could be a form of powerless. I don't, there might be a better term, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like you become like a slave to the cycle,
Yeah.
and then you're not happy, you know, there's something missing, but you're just stuck in that loop.
Mm-hmm.
And I think until you finally just say, you either realize like, I need to do something different, you kind of surrender.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you say, like,
Absolutely.
this isn't working anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And
yeah.
the choices are continue feeling like this,
Mm-hmm.
continue this pattern until something changes it for you,
Mm-hmm.
or you make the choice to do something different.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong. It's just, what are you willing to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's surrender in both of those
Mm-hmm.
scenarios. And it's hard in both scenarios.
Yeah.
But it's a choice of, okay, what are you going to do? Like, what do you want for the rest of your life? And
Mm-hmm.
with regard to the center, this is a vision I had since I was 23,
Yeah.
and I'm 47. So it took a minute, which is fine. I don't. I'm glad that it went the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
While there's surrendering to the vision, there's surrendering to what it wants to be right now. There is a surrendering to the whole process, which we went through. Like, there was zoning process, a big zoning process that we had to go through, and I mean, this was 6 months of going back and forth and then trying to figure out if I was going to have a space when my current lease was up in May. So yeah, it's been surrendering to the process was big, but also one of the biggest things why I wanted to move forward with it and why I moved forward with leaving corporate America in 2018 was because I didn't want to get to the end of my life and regret not trying,
Mm-hmm.
regret not doing it. I wasn't okay with that.
No, and that's when you would have got, if you stayed in corporate America, you're getting to a point where you're just becoming more unhappy as you continue the career. And yeah, it was a very successful career, but who knows? Like, if you would have stayed in there and you had this vision the whole time, and then you got, which who's to say in your 60s it's never too late, but
Right.
you don't want to like be at retirement age and then like just pondering the what ifs, like I should have done this, I should have done that, So
and that's for anything. Like
yeah.
I wish I would have, this is not me, but I wish I would have traveled.
Yeah. I wish I would have seen the world.
I wish I would have felt differently in a romantic relationship. I wish I would have made more friends. I wish I would, there are just so many different things that people feel and think and are curious about. And that's what we're really here to do. We're really here to express those things. And we're really here to try those things out and have those experiences.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of bland because I don't know if I've ever really had the like, oh, I want to experience this before I died, and never really had thoughts about stuff like that. But there are a lot of people that maybe you're told that at a young age too, like, oh, don't go on your deathbed with regrets or things you wish you would have done and never did. And so
one of the reasons why I felt like I wanted to move forward, and it was a specific time in my life when I did that, but I wanted to also show Kyle what was possible. Like if he wanted to do something like this, seeing it done, I felt was important.
Seeing, because what I feel like what you have is a gift. There's a lot of sensitive people in your family, so I think it is something that's a gift. But and being able to show him and not be embarrassed, because you get what you do, and you get a lot of skepticism and, oh, it's witchcraft or it's fake or so, but you don't let that bother you. And so,
well, I did,
yeah.
and I got to the point, speaking of surrender, I got to the point of surrendering that and saying, well, I know what I do. I know it's in my heart. I know that all the people that I've helped and supported, that means more to me than the people who say negative things or don't believe in it.
Yeah.
And that's all fine. Nobody has to believe
No,
in,
it's all,
and it's not my it's not my intention to go and try to change people's minds.
No, and I'm a natural skeptic as well, and I feel like there are people that do the same thing that really don't have people's interests in mind, and they, you know what I mean. I think, but there's like that with anything and everything.
That's
there's medical doctors who are scamming people too, so it's like, yeah, but I feel like what you do is genuine and honest. But going back to, you're talking about the cycle and being stuck in just complacency, and a lot of people don't know, a lot of times people stay in that, I don't know if you would say, monotonous life or cycle, because they don't know where to go for help. And it's not so much help, but where to go to connect, where to go to have self-discovery or to figure out what they need. And that's a beautiful thing about like the stuff, like what you do and the stuff that's in the center, is that stuff can help people find that out. Like, I don't know, months ago someone reached out to you, and it seemed like they just wanted to find a group of people that were trying to be spiritual. And that's all the person wanted. They didn't necessarily want Reiki, but they just wanted like a group of like-minded people.
Right.
And that's kind of what this hopefully will evolve to.
Absolutely.
Is a group of people that just are trying to live better and do better and feel better and practice spiritual principles. That's a great thing, and the community definitely needs it. So
yeah, And you've talked about that with AA. I mean, talking about a group of like-minded people. I think one of the biggest things too in that for both of these situations is being in a place that's non-judgmental.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like we know what you're experiencing, whether it's, and that can be in any group too, whether it's grief share or divorce support groups or horseback riding groups or hiking groups, or you know what I mean.
Dungeons
it's like
and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. I've never played that.
Neither have I.
But just being around like-minded people who have had similar experiences or understand, and it's a non-judgmental, safe place to work through whatever it is that you're working through, get curious about things, whatever that might be.
Yeah, and I don't know, you've talked about possibly having some group get-togethers, and who knows, this whole thing, it could evolve into something, but maybe that's something, if you get to the point where you're having little gatherings, maybe, and I don't want to like turn it into like AA, but there are like set principles, like you're not supposed to, it's supposed to be anonymous, you're not supposed to go share what you hear in the meetings, but if you do end up having little gatherings and groups, maybe it's important to have some like little bylaws. Like, remember, this is a non-judgmental zone, and we're here to support each other. And what's said here, try to keep it here. It's a safe space, like you said. But who knows what will happen? There's so much stuff that you can do with your new facility. It's really, it'd be nice to hear for some people like what they would, if they are into this and they are into, if they would go to a place like what would they like to see in a
spiritual wellness
center? Spiritual wellness center or self-improvement center or whatever. What would other people like to have available to them?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to know that. I mean, we have lots of ideas. The practitioners that are currently there and clients that I've talked to, there's so many ideas floating around, and we'd love to hear what the community is searching for.
Yeah. like a quiet place for someone to come and read a book and get away from their family. A lot of people do, a lot of people need just a quiet place. So, yeah.
Come sit on the teal couch.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what the center wants to be, how it wants to evolve. So there's another bit of surrendering too. I have ideas and I have a vision for it, but I'm also, and I think this is important for anyone, but entrepreneurs and creatives really kind of experience this a lot. Being able to surrender to the process, surrendering to what the dream wants to be. Again, there has to be some parameters around it, right? But allowing it to evolve into what it wants to be. It's its own thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about business, running a business, owning a business, but I know that you might be at a loss for a while and you got to stick with it. And most things aren't going to start off making money right off the bat. And I don't know if powerlessness pertains to that, but you definitely kind of have to turn things over, let things go, or not, accept things. And there's things that you can be in control over, and there's things that you have no control over. So it's trying to figure it out. And
absolutely,
it doesn't hurt to ask for help too. Like you've reached out and asked for help.
Yeah.
And trying to start a business on your own, especially like a facility, it's hard to do. So and you were kind of like, oh, I don't know, you reached out to some people and asked for help and swallowed your pride a little bit, and you've enabled me to help out in some ways. And so it's important to be able to ask for help, and whether it's what you're doing or whether it's you're struggling with something big, or you're a single mom and you're just like on the go all the time, and then you're about to break down, like, and you don't want to ask for help. It's hard for people to ask for help. They think it's a sign of weakness, Like, if you can't do it on your own, then you're a failure. But there's nothing wrong. Like,
No.
to humble yourself and be like, I can't do this on my own. I need help. I need support. I need answers. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that in any situation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and I think the society that we live in is so focused on that, or the culture that we live in is,
mm-hmm.
we say go ahead and ask for help, but nobody really feels like they can, or they don't want to because they don't want to look weak or whatever it is. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, when you do, and I speak from experience, when you do start opening up and asking for help and allowing people to help you with things, life softens in a way that feels comfortable.
Mm.
I mean, I guess, yeah, just the softening is so, it's a feeling I didn't know that I needed to feel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've always been kind of competitive, maybe not in a way that people would think, because a lot of times you think competitive sports or something like that, but I've more been competitive with myself, and so that's kind of what made me, one of the things that made me not ask for help, extreme self-sufficiency.
Mm-hmm.
And that offered me hard edges,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it was probably, I made it more difficult for people to get close to me. And once I started opening up and allowing help in, allowing love in, allowing to receive more, it definitely softened those rough edges.
Well, like, tore down the wall a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You have a wall up, and then
Mm-hmm.
it helps you kind of break it down a little bit.
Yeah.
For men, reach out and ask for help, or to say they're hurting, or a lot of men think it's a sign of weakness, or it's frowned upon, or this is not the case at all, especially if it's something emotional
Mm-hmm.
or mental grief, dealing with someone who's sick. Yeah, you don't have to carry that burden by yourself. There's professionals that deal with that. So there's nothing wrong. Like, if there's something in your mind, like, and you start to notice that you're just depressed and it keeps getting worse, like, reach out and get help, whether it be a counselor. It's not like reach out and get on medicine. No, try counseling. Or if you got a very close friend, talk to them. And that doesn't mean just find someone. Some people are okay with that, but it's better to seek a professional.
Mm-hmm.
We all have friends and that we spill all our stuff onto, but sometimes you really need, like, a professional to help you work through stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that at all.
No, no. And as much as your friends love you, they may like help you lean into that.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think you need to talk to someone.
right. A neutral party is probably always better. Yeah.
No,
But it's got to be tough for men. I mean, that's such a great point. I mean, that has to be so tough for men, just in general, feeling all these feelings and then feeling, getting pressure to express, but then not feeling safe to do it, and actually coming to terms with how you're feeling, or understanding how you're feeling, or
yeah. Well, yeah, and it's not just men. I guess men are kind of wired that way, but I feel like,
well, that's the narrative that's been expressed to
yeah, like,
men.
you're a man, you're strong, you suck it up, you don't feel any emotions.
Right.
But think about
Then that
women.
turns into alcoholism and
Yeah,
abuse, and
and just, like, being an asshole to everybody.
perfectionism, workaholism,
Yeah, but even women, there's a lot of, like, very strong, independent women, single moms,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to be a rock. They are the foundation and the rock. So they've had to make themselves, like, not show any weakness, or
Mm-hmm.
not show any emotion or this or that, because they are the rock. So then I
Mm-hmm.
think it's not just men anymore. There's a lot of women that are in that position too, because they've had to be independent, they've had to be strong, because they are keeping it together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not just the whole stigma of, like, oh, you're weak if you ask for help. I think it's also a lot of people don't. It's very hard to be intimate and tell someone your worries
Yeah.
and what's bugging you, and because maybe then you are admitting that something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the three things in order to really get better or to get over something. It's like you realize you don't have control over it.
Mm-hmm.
You surrender to it,
Mm-hmm.
and you ask for help.
Yeah.
And they're all very hard things to do.
Yeah.
And that's why that's like the foundation of growth.
Yeah.
Because doing those three things, it's exhibiting an action to get better. It's
Mm-hmm.
and that action of those three things is surrender, like full surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And
It can change the course of
yeah,
everything.
it definitely can.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope your new center helps people with that. And I really do, and I feel like it will. There's a lot of opportunity to help people.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And that's the goal. I'm really excited about it, and going in there and getting the space ready is exciting, and it feels good in there, and I just feel all the possibilities that are coming in and the people that are going to come through, and it just feels really exciting. Even
I'm
though
scared.
I know I'm scared too.
I'm negative Nelly or whatever you want. Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But I am sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but I've been handling pretty well. I'm kind of I'm feeling good about it. I don't like to shop, and I'm in this phase of like I have to decorate and buy things, and yeah, it was fun today, and then we hit a wall.
Well,
but
yeah, I was like, my brain just, this. You started off by saying, "Oh, it's been a busy weekend with baseball." Well, really, it hasn't, because they lost and we were done.
That's true.
But I've gotten like 2 to 3 hours of sleep each day.
Yeah,
so
right.
that's the thing that's been draining.
Yeah.
With the at-home store, there's just so much. And I like.
He loves shopping.
And I would just buy all this stuff in there. And, like, it's all cool stuff.
It
like,
is all cool stuff.
It's like, oh, I can. I don't know where I'll put it, but I'll buy it. How much stuff since we've been together, how much useless crap have I bought? So.
And how many things have I needed to buy that I haven't bought?
A lot.
But yes, a shout out to Vicky. Thanks for putting that store in our heads. And yeah, so yeah, we went there. We're excited, and it's nerve wracking too. But overall, I'm excited, and I know you're excited.
I am
more excited than nervous.
Yeah, I just I think I don't like what ifs, or I like more concrete stuff. But and I realize that it could take a while. Like nothing's gonna. Like, you're not going to create a business and everyone's going to flock to it.
It could.
So, which I'm fine with, but I don't want to see you get down or disappointed either.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because then I have to deal with you.
That's right. Then you have to deal with me. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. But we hope that if you're in Marysville or the surrounding area, that you'll come and experience the center and share your thoughts. What do you need from the center? What do you need in your life that the center can help you with? So
if you do listen to the podcast, please say, hey, this would be cool in there, this would be helpful. By all means.
Yeah. All right. Well, enjoy your week.
See you later.